Hi, Monkey Business Campers. It's Samantha. I do art stuff at camp. Sometimes I read Book of the Day, and I see people around all the time. Anyway, it's good to see you. I'm going to do a little sewing project that I think you can do with stuff you can find around your home or house, apartment, wherever you're living. And let's start. Also, my son Patrick is doing the photography, so I'm going to give him little signals of how to hold it because, yeah. So now he's going to aim it down at the table. So these are some bags that we have made at camp in the summer, some different kinds. I'm just going to show you some of them and then I'll show you one more from the beginning. Oops, I dropped my needles. Alrighty. So here's one where we had a piece of fabric and we folded it in half. It was sort of like this. Just folded it in half, and then the person that sewed this one sewed around the outside and then did a little embroidery right there, a little flower there. And that can be fun to do. Some people want to do embroidery right down here, and that's fun too, but it's a little tricky because you have to get all the way in there. At the top, it's a little bit easier. Now here's one where the person who made it did the sewing along the outside and then turned it inside out to hide it. You can see a little bit of the color, but not so much. Sort of like with this sweatshirt, you can see how the sewing was done mostly on the inside, and then you turn it this way, and then you don't see so much. You see a little bit, sort of like with this one here. Now this is a bag, and it's called a tie method, and what you do is you start with a piece of fabric like this, about this big, but it usually has the corners when you start, and then you cut strips that are about the same length, and then usually you cut out that corner, get rid of that. You can use it for something else. That's a good piece. And then you cut more strips and cut more strips, and then when you're ready, you fold it in half, and then you tie the pieces together. And you can either do a one tie, or if you want it to be super strong, do a double tie. Oops, I got a little extra one in there, didn't I? You can do a double tie. And then I've also seen people sometimes have braided them, which is really fun. What you can do is braid, and then when you get to the bottom of the braid, you can decide if you want to put a little rubber band on it, like some people do with their hair, or you could even sew it. Just get a needle and thread and just sew through it. And that will help it hold still. Now it might get a little loose at some point, so you might also want to sew it right there. You can decide about that. Now these bags can be kind of funny because sometimes it's fun to fold it inside out, or I guess right side out, and hide the ties, and then the bag looks more just like a rectangle and you can't see the ties, but then not that much stuff fits in it. But actually, if you wanted to put something like glasses in it, that would make it extra soft already. So even something that seems kind of maybe a little odd, that you're taking up a lot of the space with the ties, can be a benefit if it helps pad something that's kind of delicate in there. And you'll see the tie on there. Typically what we've done with these kind of bags is you can have a tie and you can tie it around the top. If you have a design, you might want to go underneath where the design is. You can sort of tie it like that and see that. Sometimes what I do, even with curtains in my house sometimes, is I will sew the tie on. I kind of find the middle. I'll just sew it on one side like this, just kind of go in and out so that it doesn't get lost when I open the bag, because otherwise I lose a lot of things. They just kind of fall off. So tying that on there, sewing it, the tie on there can be good. Another thing sometimes people want to do is have a little loop around the top that you can put a string through. Now with this one, you sew it first to make this little spot where the ribbon can go. And to do that, what you can do is fold it down, and then some people put clips or pins. I forgot to bring those right now, so I'm just going to hold it with my hand. And then you would just sew through here. You would just go in and out and in and out. And then the thing about sewing is to really pull all the way till it stops at the end. And then you just keep going. And then that way you have a little spot where you can put a little secret string through the top after you make the bag.
So you would just keep going to make that. Now I'm just going to show you when you have it, what you can do is turn it like this. So this is going to be the inside part that you're not going to see. And you would sew, and then stop right there. If you sew all the way up, you lose the spot to put the string in. So you'll want to stop right there. And then when you're done doing that sewing, you'll turn it right side out, and it will kind of look like this with these parts folded in. And this part will be all folded in like that. And then you will stick your string through here. And that's something that we've done a lot when we've made bags at camp, and it can be a little tricky. What you do is you take the string that you're going to use and stick a safety pin on it. And then you have something kind of hard, and you can push it through, push it in, and then hold, and then push it in further and hold and push it all the way through till it comes out the other end. And then you'll have a bag with a tie at the top. And then if you want to find something like we have these at camp, and I'm sure you have something at home that has one that maybe you're not using, I find them on old coats, and sometimes they'll have it at the top, and if I don't use it that much, I might take it off. Check with people in your house before you take things apart, though. That's always a good idea. So those are some ideas. The other fun thing you can do that we discovered at camp is if you have any pom-poms or anything, they are really fun to sew. So what we did last summer was we sewed a lot of pom-poms onto everything. You could sew them onto this bag, and it's funny, they seem like they might be hard, but you can just pull it right through and sew it right through. And I did it so the knot's hiding on the inside. Sometimes people want to show off the knot, so then put it on the top so you can see it. If you don't want to see it, hide it in there. When I do this like this, you can barely even see that I sewed it on with the yellow thread. And then I would tie a knot right here, and I don't know why, I always like to do a double knot. What I do when I tie a knot is I use the needle to push down so that my knot is right next to the fabric. See right there? Sometimes if you do it and it's way up here, that's okay, just do it again. Get it down low. Sewing is a great way to learn about fixing mistakes, because most mistakes are really easy to fix when you sew. You just cut it, take it out, start again. So you can do that. Another fun thing I know we did a lot last summer was we made bracelets where we took strips of fleece. I should have said that at the beginning. This is fleece. The thing about fleece is it doesn't unravel. So for instance, this edge right here, I don't have to sew it or anything, and it's not going to come apart. It just keeps its edges. It doesn't unravel. One fun thing to do with strips of fleece is to make bracelets. And you can sew on pom-poms that you like. You can get it to be the size that you want. And then you can even sew a button on here and then cut a hole in this side and hook it right on there. It can be fun to see different kinds of jewelry. And you can just make anything. You can make straps for your bags. Let's say I wanted my bag to have a handle. I could take these straps. I could either sew them on the outside if I want people to see that part, or I could hide it and do it right there, and then have a nice little handle. If you're sewing with another kind of material that isn't fleece, like here's a piece of material that is not fleece, you can see how it's already kind of starting to come frayed at the edge if it's not sewn. So with this kind of thing, you definitely want to sew the top edge of your bag, the part that's not going to be hiding from the seams. You would want to sew that so it would be closed, and then you would just turn it right like this, inside out. There's my kitty. Can you hear the kitty bow? And then you could sew it like this. She really likes sewing. She might come up here to help a little bit. Mila, you gonna come up here and see this? You like the sewing sometimes. Oh yeah, what's going on up here? There she is. She likes sewing so much that when I sew on the sewing machine, she comes and tries to pull the fabric. You're very brave. You're very brave. Yes. So then what you would do is you would sew like this and then turn it right side out, and then it would be all set. And then the only part that wouldn't be hiding in the seams, this part right along here would be finished like that because you had folded it and sewn it down. So that would be ready. So those are some sewing ideas, and I found this piece of fabric and I thought, oh my gosh, what would I do if I found a piece, hello, if I found a piece of fabric like this, and I thought, well, what I might do is make a bag that was just a very interesting shape. I'm not exactly sure how I would do it. I might do it this way. I might sew along here and sew along here, and then I could have a little flap, and I could sew a button on there and cut a little hole in here. I don't know what I would put in there, but I'm sure someone has something that would fit in there. I'm missing sewing with you all. You have so many good ideas, and I always learn so much when we sew together, and I'm hoping that if you watch this and you sew something, you can send a picture to the office or send an email with some ideas of other ways to sew, because you all know a lot and have a lot of information that I want to hear about. Ooh. Here's some buttons too, if you have any buttons. These were my grandmother's buttons, things that she bought for different projects and then didn't use, or things she took off projects when she changed her mind. There's a lot out there. Well, now he's going to fold it back up so I can see you again. Thinking about you. Hope you have a great day. Get outside. Look at the plants, the beautiful weather we're having right now. Love you all and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.